Well, hi there, and welcome to our Sunday hymn time. Yes, or whenever you're watching this, I've got a hymn, and it goes back to 1897, so a long ways away. Now, I have to admit, I've never sung this song, and I don't ever remember even singing it in church. Yeah, I think it was maybe popular among Baptists back in the day, but it was rolling around in my mind for some reason. And I thought maybe I would do it. The song is called Will There Be Any Stars in My Crown? And it has kind of a catchy tune to it, although I have to admit it wasn't as easy as I thought it would be. So I'm not even 100% sure I'm singing any of it correctly, especially the chorus. But anyway, I was listening to, Alison Krauss. She does a version of this song. Some of you know Alison Krauss, great country singer and violinist. And well, if you want to go on YouTube and just type in Alison Krauss, Will There Be Any Stars in My Crown? You'll know how this is supposed to be sung. But Eliza Hewitt, and she wrote these words. Actually, John Sweeney put them to music. She was thinking about, and it's kind of loosely based on the Bible. Yeah, very loosely based, because we have this idea, of, say, getting rewards in heaven someday. And the scriptures talk about that. Those of us who put our faith in Jesus, and someday we'll stand before him at the judgment seat of Christ, and he will give out rewards for service, right? Things we do in this life, especially for him. And of course, we do that by, well, as he said, whatever you've done for the least of these, you do for me, right? And so we think about, some kind of a crown in heaven. Now, we do have a picture of the elders in heaven, and the first thing they do when they get their crowns is they throw them at the feet of Jesus. I mean, we're not, anything we get. Is there anything that we don't owe to him anyway? Everything we have is a gift of his. So even when we give back to him, if you put money in an offering plate at church, for instance, you're just giving back to him what's already his anyway. But she was thinking of people as maybe being like little stars in a crown. And she was thinking of, maybe you've heard that term, soul winning, evangelists that go out and, just regular people like you and me, that we invite people to come and maybe investigate faith in Jesus for themselves. And so we try to encourage other people to come and find what we've found. And I'll get into some of that later. But, of course, biblically speaking, we're not going to get we think of the crown that, say, King Charles wears, that big heavy crown with the white fur around it. No, ours is more of it's what they call the victor's crown, and it comes from the Olympic Games. The athletes that got those, they were kind of like a wreath made out of leaves. Sometimes you see it in old movies, especially, I think they always have Julius Caesar or something in the little crown of leaves. So it's more of a crown like that. But the thought is, will there be anybody when I get to heaven that is maybe going to come up to me and say, hey, thank you. You had an influence on me. Maybe somebody you taught in Sunday school, or a neighbor you invited out to church or something. So that's the question being asked in this song. And like I say, catchy little tune, and I'll try to actually get most of it on key. Will there be any stars in my crown? I am thinking today of that beautiful land I shall reach when the sun goeth down, when through wonderful grace by my Savior I stand. Will there be any stars in my crown? Will there be any stars in my crown, when at evening the sun goeth down? When I wake with the blessed in those mansions of rest, will there be any stars in my crown. In the strength of the Lord, let me labor and pray. Let me watch as a winner of souls, that bright stars may be mine in the glorious day, when his praise like the sea billows roll. Will there be any stars in my crown, when the evening that sun goeth down? When I wake with the blessed in those mansions of rest, will there be any stars in my crown? Oh, what joy it will be when his face I behold, living gems at his feet to lay down. It would sweeten my bliss in the city of gold, should there be any stars in my crown. Will there be any stars in my crown, when at evening the sun goeth down? When I wake with the blessed in those mansions of rest, will there be any stars in my crown? Like I say, a pretty song, isn't it? Yeah, will there be any stars in my crown? Hope I didn't ruin it. Again, Alison Krauss. Yep, look up her version. You want to hear something really pretty. Well, thinking about sharing our faith in Jesus, and I guess, well, that's kind of what I'm doing here in these Sunday songs. But, maybe you've heard somebody mention about the Great Commandments and the Great Commission. All right, first of all, the Great Commandments, and Jesus said, first of all, to love the Lord your God with all your heart and all your soul and all your mind and all your strength. And then he said, love your neighbor as yourself. And so for those of us who have come to Jesus, and he said it right from day one, just about, with all of his followers, as he was leaving to go back to heaven, he left them this commission. He said, go preach the gospel to all, make disciples of all nations. And I'm with you always, right to the end of the age. And so we think about sharing our faith, yes. And, well, let's see. In the world today, there's something like a little over 2 billion people, yes, who worship in some way this carpenter from Nazareth. Yeah, Jesus. And he's known all over the world. And we keep making him known. And so Eliza Hewitt, back in 1897, was thinking, will there be a people, stars in that crown of mine? And, well, at church we're going through the Gospel of John. And just in the first chapter. But I was thinking about this because I was reading, there's a fellow by the name of Andrew Murray. And he goes back to around the time of Eliza Hewitt, come to think of it, back in the late 1800s. He wrote a number of great books. And he talked about, I guess you could almost call them 3 stages of intimacy when it comes to our relationship with Jesus. And in John chapter 1, we get the idea where, first of all, some people were questioning, hey, who are you? What are you all about? And Jesus said, come and see. Come and see, that invitation. There were others, people like Philip, and he found Nathaniel. And there was Andrew, who was Peter's brother, and the first thing he went and did, he went and found Peter. He said, I think we found the Messiah. And Peter said, what, really? Well, I don't know. Come and see. Right? So that's kind of like the first stage, if you want to call it. Come and see. And then, when we do that, when we taste and see that the Lord is good, as it says in the Scriptures, then maybe we'll actually hear that second stage. Oh, actually, is there anybody Jesus wouldn't say this to? So you got to listen for it. But maybe Jesus would say to you, hey, come follow me. And we hear that from different of those apostles, where Jesus just said, hey, come follow me. Okay, and then there's that third stage of intimacy that Andrew Murray speaks about. In fact, he wrote a whole book on it, and it goes, let's see, it's in John chapter 15, and it's something even more intimate than taste and see, follow me. It's abide in me. And so it's like every day walk with me. And that's really the ultimate goal in this life. And then, of course, we share that with other people. We invite them. We live in a day and age. I was thinking of, back in the day, the Saturday newspaper would post all of the church ads, right? And people new to town would get the Saturday paper. Yep, got to find out, where's the church in my neighborhood I need to go to? Well, that was back then. Your next door neighbor, they didn't wake up this morning thinking, hey, it's Sunday. I better go to church. No, it's not on anybody's radar these days. But what is on people's radar is, hey, there's something missing inside here. There's got to be more to life than this. And so, I don't know, my neighbor there, he's one of those Jesus people. Hey, what's this all about? And you may just simply say, come and see. Come see. Maybe you'll invite them out to a church service or something. And that's really the invitation that Jesus gives us. And maybe as we make that invitation, as I make it here once again on one of these Sunday song times, maybe someday in heaven, someone may come up to you and say, hey, you don't know who I am, but you know what? You said something one day in a Sunday school that I was attending, and it made sense to me, and I decided to follow Jesus, and I just wanted to say thank you, because you're one of the reasons I'm here. And I know there are going to be people I'm going to approach. I'm going to look for someday when I get to whatever that other side looks like, and I'm going to say, hey, thank you. You know what? You really made an impression on me, and I wanted to learn a little bit more about Jesus because of you. I wanted to walk a little more closely with him because I saw you and how you lived your life. Will there be any stars in our crown? An interesting thought for you folks out there who are maybe evangelists at heart. Yeah. Or if you're not an evangelist at heart, maybe think about it. Yes. Yeah. Don't keep this to yourself. Share what you have found in your life with Christ. And may God bless you as you do that.